Hi, I am here. This is Pip. I am on the wrong camera. I'm just going to bring Greg in here. And here's Greg. And good morning, Greg. Let me turn you on. I think you guys will be seeing this in a second. Let us know how the sound is. Ooh, hold on. Ah, always learning, people.
I can hear you.
Always learning. You'll notice the graphic is wrong. I got a little. Did I get nervous, Greg? I think I got nervous.
You just love your orange and you got to splash it everywhere. What's up with that?
Right? So, hi guys. Thanks for joining us today. This is Geekspeak. We get on here each week and we talk about something awesome. Today we're talking about AdWords and we got the goods. So, I'm going to let Greg introduce himself. This is new for us, this Ecamm Live. And so I'm going to move it over to Greg and he'll introduce himself and then we'll get started. It'll be fun. Hold on, Greg. Give me a second. We're getting there. Oh, bang!
They could have heard me before you switched the scene.
Help.
Hey everybody. I'm Greg McKinnon, and I run Original 72 Creative. We're a full service website graphic design and digital marketing firm in Vancouver Lower Mainland area.
Right.
Right.
Wait. And I'm Pip. So we're here today. As I said, I run Seymour Digital Media over on the island, and we're going to talk AdWords, something I just love and Greg loves too. So I'm going to shift click, shift click, do something wrong, do it right the next time. We're going to get right into it. Greg, we're talking AdWords today. If you're joining us, by the way, pipe in here if you use AdWords, if you want to use AdWords, where you're at with AdWords, because we'll get.
If you have any questions about AdWords,
right? Questions. I got a question, Greg.
Yeah.
Why AdWords in 2018? Who uses it? Let's talk about that.
Well, who doesn't use it?
Some people. I just found out my brother's using it, so.
I know we chatted the other day when we were talking about the topic, and you said there are some businesses that maybe don't need it, but for the most part, anyone could have an advantage in using AdWords, whether it be for selling a product or a service, or even just brand recognition and being in front of people when something in your industry gets searched for.
Right. Now, if I'm really loud or Greg and I's sound is off, we're working on the sound, people. So let us know. And so, who's AdWords for? I think it's for mostly service-based businesses. But let's name a few. Who uses AdWords? Can we name
or product?
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, so when we're talking about Google Ads, we should probably be clear on what is Google Ads. Because some people might get confused on shopping ads. So shopping ads are the picture ads that we see. Google ads are the text ads that show up, like there's SEO and PPC. And so we're talking PPC or Google ads, aka AdWords.
I don't like that they changed from Google AdWords to Google Ads.
Well,
I'm just so used to saying AdWords.
That could be because you're stuck in your ways, no?
I don't know, maybe. I'm an old dog.
Right. So I think any business can use Google Ads. You can do it for pretty cheap, right? On the cheap, I think, like less than $100
Yeah,
a month.
I would say I've come across accounts that I've helped customers with where if you can do them for whatever price you want. If you want to set up a couple of ads and spend $5 a day, then your ad is going to show a couple of times throughout the day. But to be really effective, you do need a little bit more of a substantial ad spend than $5 a day. You want to, minimum be at least $25 to $30 a day. I would imagine for a small business, and larger businesses obviously they're spending way more than that. But doing $5 to $10 a day, I tend to tell people like don't even bother. It's not enough to have enough of an impact for the business.
Right. Robert's here and Giselle and Anne. Yay. Hi, guys. And it looks like maybe even Cody. That's exciting. Hi, guys. So yeah, Google Ads. See, Greg, I think we should, now that we've kind of dove into it, I think we should talk about who is not allowed on AdWords. We have sex, we have guns, we have sex, guns, and cigarettes, smoking, booze, lots of businesses. So if you sell AdWords or you're looking to get into AdWords, you have to be pretty specific, right? Hi, Anne. I love you, buddy. But we have to be specific because you can't, like with our industry in Canada right now, we're going through whole pot change thing, and they can't do Google AdWords. So if you sell Google AdWords, make sure you know who you can't sell to and the best practices, because you can't get blacklisted. So that being said,
I'm trying to work my way around that with one of my clients, trying to figure out how we can advertise. Because they're a hydroponics store. So technically we can say hydroponics and sell growing, or, say they sell growing equipment and things like that. But using any type of keywords like pot or cannabis or marijuana,
blacklist.
Those are the things we're trying to get around to get in front of that target, but not actually say any of those words.
Right. And you know what? Some people do pass by. I mean, I have seen different ads that should not be there that are there. Cody is saying something. How do I got to get that on the screen. But while we're talking about this, yeah, it's really interesting. E-cigarettes can't also be on there. I had a client who wanted to do that, and I recently got approached by a pot client. Now, I just say I can't do it because I don't have the time to run around and try to find. You can slip through the cracks for sure. But you can get blacklisted that way. I don't know. I think the shop you're talking about has every right to be on Google AdWords. I mean, they're selling grow gear, and I want to grow indoor plants in the winter because, man, that'd be awesome. So that's one of my dreams. I didn't know if you knew that. So Greg, would you recommend Google AdWords? So if I have $5 a day, you're saying no?
I'm saying don't bother. I mean, $5 a day is really not.
See, I think get your feet wet. Get your feet wet and learn. Google will give you
Okay, let me say this. I would not work on a campaign for a client who has a budget of $5 a day. If a client wants to do it themselves and all they want to do is spend $5 a day, then fine. But coming to me or going to you and you working on that client's stuff with their budget of only $5 a day just does not make sense for you or I to do that. But they can do it themselves if they wanted to.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That's fair. And so we think, generally we think everybody should try it, check it out, get used to the platform, because eventually you're going to want to be on there for one reason or another, whether it be SEO, PPC, display ads, right? So everybody searches on Google. Do you think that too? I think that. I mean, everybody in Canada and the US. Anyway.
I think it's a good idea for new businesses or new websites to have an ad campaign when they first launch, because your SEO is going to be nowhere to be found, right? And new sites are just not going to get pulled up. So having some type of initial campaign when you first launch your site would be a good idea until you put some time into your SEO and get some of your organics up. Yeah.
So it's really good for especially local businesses too, right? With the Google, you can tie, we'll get into this in a bit, but you can tie your location to your Google My Business to your AdWords. But that brings us right into our next topic, Greg, which is, so now we know who should be on there and why it's still important in 2018. Now, how hard is it to learn? What do you think? This is a big one.
I really enjoy doing any Google related stuff because they have so many help topics on the site where you can figure this stuff out quite easily. I would say it's easy. It's on the easier side to set up an account and get started. They have a nice process from start to finish that takes you through and sort of walks you through that initial campaign build and where you want to target and what you want to, what your ad wants to be and what keywords you want to do and stuff like that. And then at the end, you just fill in your credit card and away you go. More moderate to difficult to actually do it well and do it very targeted.
Right. Yes. So Sasha's here. Yay. Hi. And I can actually put you on the screen. And it looks like Cody was saying something about trying to figure out if it's viable for his business. So what were you saying, Greg? Repeat a little.
Just the difficulty level in getting started. And as I said, I feel it's quite easy to get started. But it's a little bit more difficult to be really good and have it super well optimized and running perfectly for you. Because there are some intricacies to it, and getting into what type of keywords you're using and how you're using them, phrase match, broad match, and all of that stuff.
Oof. It can go steeply crazy fast if you are afraid of buttons and levers.
Yeah.
But I would say, and I will freely admit, you know what? I know lots, but I don't know everything. I call Google AdWords all the time. So that's one learning resource we'll get into later. But yeah, it can be easy to start. You can also mistakenly spend money, make stupid mistakes like using Google AdWords and not, or Google AdWords Express and not Google Ads. There's small things, and I think my biggest recommendation, maybe the first time you're setting up a campaign, call Google and get them to walk you through. Don't listen to everything they say. They want you to spend money, so be well aware of that. But
yeah, they will. They do have a pretty good service. You can contact a Google rep, and they'll actually. For a while, I don't know if they're still doing this, because I had done this a couple of times a couple of years ago, but they used to contact me and say, hey, if you have any new clients, send us the information, we'll build it out for you. And I had a couple of and they don't charge anything. They didn't charge anything for it, so I don't know if they still do that, but it was actually worthwhile for some of the initial campaigns that I started with when I first started offering this and wasn't, completely fluent in everything AdWords.
Right. The other thing is they offer $100 sometimes. If you start a setup, you'll get $100 credit if you spend $25, and that's a really great way to get your feet wet, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I see you think it's easy. I think it's overwhelming for people a lot of the time. And the great thing is though that Google's kind of setting up everything so it's on par with one another. So like analytics kind of has the same setup as AdWords, which kind of has the same setup as shopping ads, which has the same, and they've even taken some stuff from the Facebook realm of advertising, right? With the drop down and all the options that get laid out if you use AdWords manager. So over time, I think people just get more and more used to this, and it won't be overwhelming. It's a bunch of developers that got together and built it, right? I think Phelan's on board with this. Phelan's here. Hey, buddy. Hey, honey. Yeah, it's a lot, right, for anybody. So if you're going to get started, besides hiring an expert, just go slow, make a phone call, right?
Then even on top of building a campaign out through the web, you can use the editor, the desktop editor as well, and build it out offline and then upload it to your account as well. So
that's a great.
I don't think we'll get into discussing any of the offline editing, but I mean, it brings a new level of complication in what you can do, because you can, build out over cross ads and cross campaigns and make a lot more changes. It's a lot more flexible to what you can do.
Right. I love, I don't know if so I love Google AdWords. I love almost the simplicity of it all in the end, right? The digging in, the seeing what keywords are being searched and if your keyword's showing up, and there's so many cool things about it. But so let's quickly get into the structure of things, Greg. Show me an outline, like so Google AdWords structure, it's a structured thing, right? And if you like structure, it might be for you, right? Because you have your whole campaign overview, and Greg, you're probably better at explaining this than me.
I don't know. Most of my campaigns don't have like they're typically smaller campaigns, so I don't have. I know you deal with much larger organizations than I do for AdWords, so structurally you might be better to talk to. But I am a structured person. But even I sometimes, when I'm building a campaign, will sort of get mixed up between ads and keywords and where I'm targeting, because what you don't want is to have similar or the same words competing between a couple of different um, campaigns or ads, because only one of them will take precedence, whichever one is optimized best. So if you have a couple of ads and they're all targeting the same keyword,
Mm-hmm.
um, only one will show.
Right.
The others will just not.
Right, and they'll be competing. So as for structure, yeah, you know what? Smaller campaigns are good. When you start building up the big ones, you start seeing more of what I think what I'd want to do. Of course, they get messy so quick, right? So you have to be diligent. So the way we do structure, so okay, in an AdWords, like when you log into AdWords, you have your overall, right? And in a campaign, and you can have different campaigns. So for example, if I say sold shoes, but I sold sandals, and I sold strappy sandals and like backless sandals, and then I also sold running shoes. I would create two campaigns, one for running shoes, one for sandals. And inside my sandal campaign, I would have ad group of like strappy sandal, ad group of like strappy blue sandal, ad group of like, backless sandal. And inside an ad group, you have a number of ads. And inside the ads, hopefully you have your keyword string. You might not always have it in there, but your ad is going to attach to the keywords. And when somebody searches with it and your keyword that you've chosen and they click on your ad, that's when you get charged. You don't get charged before that. So you get impressions and things. So, but that's kind of the broad overview structure, right? So you got campaign, ad groups, ads, keywords, and then you have the keywords, what Greg was talking about with the broad and the broad match modified and the exact. And so you can get deep into this stuff, and that's just surface, man. But with time, we all learn. So, yeah, I think though, one of the things that we really like to do for people now, and as you were saying, starting out, branding campaign, just a really tight, small campaign that's your business name, right? Maybe exact match, things like that, and just so you show up. So we do that because we want a good quality score and click through rate, which is lots of fun terms. But the way we do that of our overarching AdWords architecture is we do a tiny branding campaign, and that's just to make sure you show up. Sometimes your competitors will want to show up on top of your name, so that's a good way to manage that, right? AdWords is pay to play, and while you're paying to play, then you can focus on your SEO. But did that explain it well, Greg?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I wanted to also say that it's when you said pay to play, it just jogged or reminded me that just to make sure people understand that you don't actually have to have the highest bid for the keyword to be able to get that higher position,
Yeah.
because there's such a they go through the quality score and they factor a bunch of stuff for the campaign, like what your campaign budget is, what you're willing to spend on a word, what your quality score is, your landing page, and everything gives you this quality score. So you might bid slightly less than a competitor who's bidding for the same keyword, but have a much better quality score in your campaign and take that number one spot, but actually pay less.
Right. What do you guys think? Is this making sense to you? I know we're throwing a lot of words out there. Landing page, Greg, definition. Give a definition. Landing page.
Well, your landing page. So I do not like when people just run ads and go to their homepage.
Sometimes
so
work for
when
some
you're
people.
so for instance, if you're talking about this sandal, campaign or whatever, you don't want to just send people to your homepage of your website. You want to send them to that specific sandal or the sandals section of your website
Right.
so that it's about sandals. It's getting in front of people who you want to buy your sandals.
And
So
not your
why would you send them to your homepage? Send them to the sandals section
right.
of
Well,
your website.
it can get a little frustrating if you do click on an ad and you are looking for something, and all of a sudden you're like, where the hell is that thing? Where's my 40% off? Blah, blah, blah. And Google
Yeah.
does kind of penalize you for that. That's called quality score, which is based on your landing page, your ad, and your keywords, how well they match. And like, Google's job is still to bring you as the user the most relevant information, and that is included in ads. So if I sell turkeys and you're looking for tigers, I'm not going to show up. And if I do show up, I'm going to pay a lot more, right? So there's relevance, and the more relevant you are, the less you pay. That's kind of how the auction works. AdWords can get pretty deep into things. Super fun on the surface. You can spend a lot of money, and you can spend very little money, right? So, I think it's good being an agency and a marketer to know about this, because it's a huge option out there. Like Google, everybody talks social media, and to be honest, like Google's like, I think Google's still like 75%. Okay, like I'm a little Google focused, but I still think like I might hang out on social media, but when I'm searching, when I'm learning, searching to buy products, like I'm going over to Google or Amazon. Actually, mainly Google. How about you?
For buying products?
Well, just for searching for things. Like, how often are you on Google? Are you on Google every day?
Every 5 minutes.
Okay, right. And so it's a big player, right? So although
Yeah,
it's not considered a social media platform, it's your one of your bigger platforms out there, right?
yeah,
So I think if you can learn about this stuff and you're interested in this stuff, wow, you're better off learning about it.
yeah.
So Greg, that brings us to the next thing. And guys, chime in here if you have questions, because I know this stuff can get weird and it's fun and we love talking about it. And chime in if you have opinions on what people need to know too. That's important. Uh, Greg, so if we're going to direct people to learning,
hmm
where would you send them besides, to me or you?
Well, first and foremost, you can get all the information about how to do it, how to start, learning everything you need to do for Google Ads on the Google site. So they have amazing resources that tell you everything from describing the different types of keyword matching and everything like that to budgeting and which type of budgeting you should use. Yeah, so I would just say for the most part, just go learn on the Google
Ooh,
site.
begin.
You can, yeah, I mean, you can Google, how does AdWords work, and I'm sure you're going to find a lot of resources. But I mean, this is a Google product. It's Google Ads. Just go to Google and go through their documentation and learn how to do it.
See, I didn't find that easy. Like their documentation and getting a credit, it's harder than it looks. You have to get an 80% pass rate if you want to, you sell Google AdWords for 2 tests, and that's just beginner stuff. However, I guess I learn via video. I love to listen to podcasts about stuff. And I also read, but the reading is like that's very purposeful for me. So passively, uh, I listen to a wicked podcast that makes me laugh. I know it may sound super dry, but the Paid Search podcast, the guys are super funny, and for a dry topic, it's
I
awesome.
think I remember you posted a video of them in the group one time
I
talking.
love I love their podcast, and then YouTube. I go to YouTube and learn some things. Sometimes I'm searching for other things. There's also Facebook groups for specifically AdWords, which I'm part of, which totally helps. And it's interesting to go in there and see the questions if you're really interested in this topic. Um, yeah, but the fundamental way would be, I think, to go. Google's also got a process where they'll take you through the steps of learning, and you'll pass tests, and it's kind of fun. It's groovy. It's groovy.
Yeah.
We got 6 minutes left, man. Do we need to? Oh, we could hit on optimizing your AdWords. Now I know it's
Well, yeah. What do you do after you have an AdWords account set up and running ads? It doesn't stop there, people. That's just the start. Yeah, so you go in and look at how your campaign is going. Look at what keywords are getting triggered. All of that information will be in your account and show you, you got someone clicking on your ad and coming to your site from typing in this phrase. And if that phrase has nothing to do with what you're targeting, we'll then start adding negative keywords. So the idea of negative keywords are adding keywords that you want to say, if this is in their search, it is not relevant. So like if you're free would be a big one that would be in almost every one of my campaigns. So if there's free in the search, then and we're trying to sell something, then we don't want to show our ad to that person looking for whatever free.
Yeah. You can also direct your ads around not really income level, but age, different demographic areas. So if you want to hit more affluent people, I was listening to this podcast, you'd go for I'd go for people in West Vancouver instead of East Vancouver. Not to say that that's accurate nowadays, but just to give an example. So yeah, you can really drill in, right? To your demographics. You can drill into times a day you want your ad to show up. You can, it's so interesting. Like there's a lot in there and so fun.
I'm curious to ask you about a specific thing with Google Ads. What is your thought on adding the location into the keyword in your campaign? So as a for instance, take me for example. I'm a web designer. I'm in Burnaby, BC. If I had a campaign running and I was targeting Burnaby only, right, with web developer or web design services, would you, because we're already targeting the Burnaby area already and it won't show for anywhere else, are you someone who puts in the keyword of Burnaby web design, or do you just keep web design and it's targeted in Burnaby?
Interesting. I would do both. I would actually make an ad group that was location targeting Burnaby, and I would try different ads. I'd do an ad group, one with the Burnaby in the ad and one with it not, and see what would work best. I would assume that, if I was a person and I was in a location, I was looking for a web developer around me, that would signify to me I'd want to meet them, or they want in real life interaction, right? And so that's why I would do that, because I might be more likely to click on it, right? The near me stuff, those keywords really work. The, web developer near me, stuff like, so I make, when you drill in, I make ad groups based on like the word near me, and then I'd make 2 ads for the near me. And then, it's just so fascinating, this stuff.
It's the reason why I ask is more to find out what other people do, because I kind of do a little bit of both. Like some campaigns I'm doing it that way, and some campaigns I'm not.
Right.
But for the purposes of, if you're in my case, you're in Burnaby, and then but maybe someone is looking in your area, but they live in like Surrey or Vancouver or something. So if your ad's not showing to them, but you can still target the word because they mentioned Burnaby, your ad will still show even though they're outside of your target area.
Interesting. Yeah, no, and that's
getting those people that are specifically saying, I'm looking for a person in Burnaby, but I'm not physically in Burnaby right now, so you still want to show that ad.
Yeah, it's so there's a lot you can do. And Lynn's joined us. Hi, Lynn. We're just wrapping up now. If you guys have AdWords questions, throw them in and give us some love, people, or some thumbs up, because I love seeing it because it transfers through on the eCam thing, and I'm all learning. Hey, Greg, we're pretty much out of time.
Yeah, well, let's leave people with that. We'll leave
Wanting
people
more,
wanting more.
right? If you want more, let us know because we totally love talking about this. It's actually quite fun for us. We do
A deeper dive into Google Ads.
we got next year. We're going to be diving deep on lots of things, lots planned. Greg, where can people find you if they're looking for you? Hold on, let me do this cool thing for a second, just because I'm getting jiggy with it.
You got a blue border for me, like your orange border before?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There it is. Uh, Tell me, Greg, where can people find you?
They can find me at my website, original72.com, and they can always find me in the Cyberpunk Geek Facebook group. I'll answer any questions on my Wednesday, which I failed to be around for yesterday.
Yeah, so I put Greg back. I just let I will say I'm switching it over to me, Greg. Greg. So yes, Greg did fail this week, people. He did. He did not post on his Wednesday because he had a lot to do. There was business stuff going on. Business. And so Greg got carried away with working hard and didn't bring it on home for the group this week. We'll make you pay for that next week, Greg.
Slap my wrist.
Right? Bang. So guys, join us next week at 11. I actually put the month of topics inside the group so you can check out what's going on there. Next week we're talking Data Studio. I know it's going to be like a game changer. Super fun stuff. And you can find me, Seymour Digital Media, but I'm in the group this week. So look for me there if you have questions. And post questions inside this chat and we will make sure to answer them. We'll either come back and answer them via text or we'll make another video. And thank you everybody for coming. I see we still have Cody and Greg and a couple other people here. So thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time, energy, and love. Send those hearts, man. And we'll see you next week. I will stop it now, Greg. Say bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, guys.